I have had the opportunity to read and listen to many practices to get to have a life in the here and now. Unfortunately, no teacher is going to tell you what you have to do. Because freedom is the most important aspect in those who are governed. An enlightened person will never tell you concrete things, so that you can apply them in your life. That is why it is difficult to grasp with the ears of reason. Cunning and reason are concepts that leave aside the most sensitive people, not just the enlightened. Among them are the artists. The artists are people who cannot be ruled by the standards of reason, since many of their works are simply madness. Any purely rational person would be incapable of create a work of art. Also be unable to understand true love and compassion. There is a certain indiscipline in free people, but discipline is marked in other aspects. I will try to explain to me the best I can. Certainly living in the here and there now moves you away from many worries, because you are not thinking about the problems that this or that could cause you. You cannot be thinking if your plan is going to go well or if it is going to go wrong. The enlightened ones say, if it goes well, it goes well. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. There is a proverb that says the following: if you have a solution so that you worry, if there is no solution for you to worry about. So, what to do? Well, what you have to do is work on what you have to work on at that moment. Do not be thinking about absolutely anything more than what you are doing. Do not think, just act. And truthful as all your problems begin to fade. Well, this in a certain way is somewhat discouraging, because not many people have the ability not to get distracted by things that come to mind. Much less if there are problems that have to be solved. It is said easy, but in practice, it is when everything seems to be complicated. I have found a method that I want to share with you. It is quite effective. Personally, it has helped me since I am not a Buddhist monk or Zen master of the mountains. I'm an ordinary person who lives in the city, who works and has responsibilities. But I like to combine creativity with reason. I do not think you have to be an extremist unless you live in the mountains. But we live in the city. And most of the people who live in the city live on the extreme of materialism, in the extreme of being immersed in worries. Worries that slowly eat away at the spirit. And the people who live in the mountains or in the monasteries live in the extreme of the spirit. They are two totally different worlds. My experience of life has taught that you can live with some aspects of spirituality in the material world. Maybe not everyone can understand this, because there is a lot of information that kills the spirit. Rational information that handles the left side of the brain. This information kills the right side and creates an imbalance. This is the same when it only emphasizes the right side of the brain. As I live in the city and I like to live the best I can, I looked for a balance. That's why I share the following. The method is really simple and has already been applied for a long time by great minds of the world. I can tell you that it closely resembles what we now call algorithms. Algorithms I respect. They are methodical sequences that lead to several results. The robots do not think, they do not reflect, they do not worry. They are not thinking if the light goes out and because of that sure they can lose all the work they've done. They are not thinking if they can catch a virus they will start to have faults. They simply act and develop what they were programmed for. Now, with this method that I am going to share, nobody will force you to do anything. Nobody will force you to do things you do not want to do. With this method, you will be self-disciplined, but you have to be aware of it. I would like always remember that nobody will force you to auto-program after. You yourself will do it, and you have to always be aware of it, and for that I will share something that I do. I hope it can serve you. The first thing I did was to list all my obligatory tasks. Work, bathe, do the bathroom, brush my teeth. You have to list all the activities, even if they're ridiculously simple or almost do not take any time. Change clothes, have breakfast, take a mid-morning meal, lunch, snack, dinner, practice piano, exercise, read, make videos, visit my parents, meditate, write, prepare and drink herbal tea. Once you have all your activities, you have to put them in the sequence of your day. I share some of the activities that I enlisted. 5:55 a.m. to get up and give thanks for a new day. 6 a.m. to meditate. There are certain activities that are important, but they are not to my liking, and yet they ruin the other activities that I do. Because if I do not do them, then they are left behind and slowly accumulate until suddenly I am forced to work in them reluctantly. This is frustrating, because we are always going to have activities that we do not like to do, and yet have to perform. For example, for me it is not satisfactory to go shopping at the market or supermarket. I do not like it very much either. Attend social gatherings, although it is supposed to be good for health. I do not like to be in a traffic jam either. This does not mean I do not like to go out. I like to go out, but to the park or to a place where there are trees. I like to observe the animals and also listen to them. I like to have simple conversations without transcendence with people who do not know me, such as talking with the lady of the cool cycle. I like to go to bars before, but slowly I realized that I do not belong to those places. Then, I calculate the schedule in which those things that I have to do by force coincide, and in that exact time I put the activities that do not affect me so much if I do not do them. For example, from 3 to 6 I have to attend to my clients, but I do not always have clients to attend. Just like 3 to 6, I have to go to the market, but not every day I go to the market, etc. Then, in this schedule I schedule the activities that do not affect me so much if I do not do them, such as read and write. All this I write on my phone's calendar, and I put an alarm to let me know every activity that I have to do. In this way I do not forget anything, and I do not care about the future. I concentrate on what I have to do at that precise moment, and when the alarm sounds, I automatically know what I have to do. I know I have to stop doing what I am doing and move on to the activity that I play. In this way I live, and I live in the here and now. I'm not always looking at the clock. I realize what I have to do. I do not get distracted by other things, because I know that this is the specific moment to do what I already self-program. I'm not thinking of it as Monday or Friday. In fact, there are times that I do not know what day I am, and if I have appointments, the alarm and the alert, and if that appointment requires preparing a project, then I also program what I need to buy and do to have that project ready and show it to my clients. In the same way, if you are studying, it is much easier, because you can schedule your homework and give them a specific time in the day to do it. My only leisure time is to go to the park, but probably you have other leisure activities. Those activities also schedule them. Do not get distracted and do what you have self-programmed. In this way you will always be able to advance. Slowly you will realize that happiness is coming into your existence. You breathe and you do not care about anything, because everything is already programmed so that you dedicate the time you have to dedicate. Remember not to think about anything. Just do it and happiness will come. Another of the great benefits that has this method is that you do not want anything. If your desire is to obtain a car, the traditional method is to work to buy it. Then, save yourself. Spend some time in making a plan to compare it. A sheet and a pen, and begins to do accounts. Allocate an amount for what you want to buy and other amounts in your current expenses. You may have to sacrifice gustitos to be able to make more savings. Once that you have shaped that plan on a sheet, work without thinking about anything, save without thinking about anything. When the day comes, you will realize that everything you did without effort, the effort lies in thinking. Maybe over time you will not think nothing, doing things in automatic. That is what great teachers do. Meditate while doing other types of activities, and meditate while doing an activity is to stop thinking and only to do it. You can breathe deeply while doing that activity. I have achieved several times, and if I could achieve it, do not doubt that you can do it too. Finally, if you have a boss or clients that make your life difficult, what you can do is write down a note that says, "My real job is to understand your anger, but I do not tell you anything, because you do not have the ability to understand my words. I hope you're happy soon." This way, when they're screaming at you, listen very carefully to what they're saying, more than anything to know what they want, and if what they want you are doing well, then let them know in an intelligent way. Once they finish to vociferate, repeat the words you have written on your paper, then try to meet their demands. In this way there may be a decrease in discomfort from your superiors. Remember that if you change, it is likely that the people who surround you do not try to change people. That will only create more frustration and anger. And if so many do not change, then I advise you to look for another job. And if you're a student, well, I'm sorry, hold on. In any way, teachers are not forever. It is better that you take advantage of it and take the best of your knowledge to apply them when you go out to